Just moving on to your own athletics career, it's been a very distinguished one. You are the double 100 metre, 200 metre British Masters champion. What inspired you to get started in the sport?
Well, to be honest with you, my career, I wouldn't say is what it could have been, potentially, because I started very late. I didn't start track and field until I was 25, towards 26, and obviously the first few years I didn't really know what I was doing. So seriously, probably when I was 30. So I was a very late starter, and so naturally, Master starts at 35. So naturally, my progression got me into I started to see results into my mid 30s, and that's where things started to show. I've always been good at sport. I've always been fast, but I wasn't positioned correctly, with the club. I didn't have direction. I didn't know where to go as a young person. In those days, with no internet and all that, looking through the newspapers, trying to find the nearest club, and it didn't happen. So I was training by myself, playing football, just keeping fit. So, sometimes I look back and regret and thinking, what would I have done if I started young? But life is about your experiences. I am who I am today as a result of my experiences, so I don't regret that. Current British double champion. It's great to know that I'm the best in the country in the Masters division, and it's quite elite level in terms of Masters. It's our own Olympics. For us, it's a high standard, so it's not as easy as people think it might be. The older you get, the more difficult it is for your body to recover from training and all that. So we have to train a lot smarter. We have to know what we're doing. You improve your performance from the technical side of things. You don't look for speed so much as you would when you were younger. Natural speed will be there. So we work on your mechanics, and improving your efficiency and your recovery and diet and all those things. Those small things added together cumulatively improve your running. So that's what's keeping me in peak performance and running my quickest times in my later years, and it's a testament to that.
And what have been the main things you've learned in your 10-15 years in athletics?
Well, I would say in track and field, the most important thing is discipline. Discipline is absolutely key. I don't care how much talent you've got. If there's no discipline, then you won't be able to achieve what you want to achieve to. Another thing is mental strength, right? The ability to hone into your mental capacity and achieve what you know you can achieve. There are techniques for these, and there's specialists who can help people achieve that. So the ability to know what you want, have belief in your capability, and put it into practice. I would say those are the key things I've learned. I've also learned that without hard work, it's virtually impossible to achieve good results. You can have all the talent in the world and all the hope and all the mental strength. If you don't put the work in, forget it. It's no point. Those things also transfer over to other aspects of life. So those skills are very, very valuable.
Precisely. And what would you say are your greatest achievements in athletics?
My biggest achievement, my greatest achievement, has to be the World Masters Championships in Brazil in 2013, where I got 4 medals, I believe. Yes, actually 3 medals. I got a silver medal in the 100 meters individual, and I got 2 gold medals in the relays. So for me, that was the best experience I had, and that has given me more drive to stay in the Masters and to compete, in Poland, Europeans, indoors, and the next World Championships in Lyon. That I would say would be my greatest achievement.
And just coming on to your own athletics career, Mark, you've had a very distinguished career representing Great Britain at the World Indoor Championships in 2006.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start in athletics?
Wow, it's a funny story, this. So, like I said, as a kind of 14 and 15 and 16-year-old, I was playing football. So at age of 15, Millwall, 16 QPR, but then at the same time I was always multi-sport. So I played district basketball, district football, district volleyball, district athletics. But in 1994, I got my first international as a GB athlete for an under 17. That year I travelled quite a bit and I really enjoyed it. The following year, in 1 year, I went to places I'd never even heard of. I went to Hungary, I was in Spain, I was in Italy. The following year I was in Australia. And you know, just the whole social side of the sport and meeting new people and the travelling, I really enjoyed it. So I decided to really give it a go. And I didn't look back after that. In hindsight, I probably, should have played a bit of football and carried on. But the decision I made, and I've loved every minute of it. I don't regret it. Financially, it would have been great to play football, but no, I had a great time doing track and field. So I don't regret that. No.
And you say great time, Mark. You're still very much in the mix competing at the moment as a vet. What is it that keeps you driving, keeps motivating you to stay in the sport?
To be fair, so I retired in 2012, and when I retired. I had no ambition of getting back into the sport and doing it. I was done. But at the same time, obviously, I've got my own personal training business, so I think it's very important to look the part as well. So, I've been to so many gyms and seen people with PT shirts and say they're a personal trainer, but they look so out of shape, it's unbelievable. So I think it's very important for me to stay in shape and, look the part as well. So for me, getting back into the sport was, I tried different things. I said, all right, I'm going to go in the gym and make sure aesthetically I look well, but I found it quite boring coming from a very active background in track and field. It just wasn't enough for me. Then TJ mentioned that he was doing masters and why not get involved. So I said, okay, it seems quite fun. I haven't got to train at the massive intensity that I was training when I was doing it full time. And it gave me an objective again, and I enjoy doing different elements of training, so doing plyometrics, being in the gym, doing accelerations, doing longer runs, doing your core workouts, that stuff. That's what keeps me driven, and to have an objective of, okay, now you're going to go and do a European Champs. It feels the same as when I was competing full time, but a bit less of the pressure, where I can kind of train when I have the time. I can mix it with work and don't feel pressured about it. So yeah, I'm glad I'm doing it. Still love it. Still very competitive. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Fantastic. And what would you say is your greatest achievement, Mark, as a runner?
Wow. Obviously getting my first senior international, competing at the 2006 Moscow World Indoor Championships, was big for me. But I've had so many highlights of going to indoor Grand Prix and winning and medaling and mixing with some of the best guys in the world. Travelling around and training with some of the best athletes that there was, best coaches. But I'd have to say my highlight would have to be, putting on that GB vest at the 2006 World Indoor Championships. It was a huge. I trained really hard. Unfortunately, I got hurt while I was out there, so it wasn't the best of results for me. But big achievement, because I went to every single championship there was as an under 17, as a junior. And sometimes the transition between junior and senior is quite hard. So to make the transition and to represent my country at senior level was a big thing for me.
Without a doubt. And on the more general sense, Mark, what have you learnt most from your athletics career?
Wow. I'll be honest with you, I think the things that have stayed with me is, you know, focus, the discipline, the commitment that you need for the sport. You know, I've done it for so long. It's now natural that it comes. That I use that in my everyday life now. To the focus I have, the commitment I have for my work, the sacrifice. I still have those elements that track and field gave to me that I'm now using in my business.
And just looking ahead, Mark, for this season, you mentioned there you've got the European Masters Champs in Poland in March. How's the preparations been going for that?
They've been going well. They've been short. I only decided to do it at the beginning of the year, so I started training January 5th, where really should have probably started training late October, November at the latest. But I'm not worried about that. It's going really well. I'm a month in at the moment. I've still got another 8 weeks before then. So I'm sure I can get myself in the shape that's needed. Very, very, very competitive. I wouldn't be getting on the plane to Poland if I didn't think I could win. So as long as I stay healthy and get through these 8 weeks, I'm quietly confident I can go there and do the business.
You've got quite a good friendly rivalry with TJ as it stands, and you raced TJ last year in the World 60 metres Masters event.
That's right, yeah.
Came out on top on that occasion. Are you confident you can repeat that result in Poland?
Yes, like I said, I wouldn't be getting on the plane if I didn't think I could beat whoever's put in front of me on that line. So I know TJ very well, good friend of mine. But again, when I'm on the line, you know, I don't have any friends, and I'm looking to tear people apart. So if TJ's on that line, he's a part of that. He's a part of that final that I'm looking to put to bed.
Absolutely, it's going to be a wonderful occasion, I'm sure, Mark. You've got a chance to race up against your friend Mark, who actually beat you in last year's World Masters Series 60 metres. So do you think you can reverse that trend with Mr. Finley this time?
Well, I mean, look, I'm training for a goal. I have my goal. My goal is to go to Poland and come away with a gold medal. It could be anybody lined up with me in the final. It's completely irrelevant. I try not to focus on other athletes, because the minute you start doing that, then the focus goes away from yourself. And I think it's the key thing here, self-focus. I'm going to go in there, focus on Mr. Osai and how I'm going to execute a fantastic race to come away with a gold medal. Everyone wants to win, right? So they're going to do their thing, I'm going to do mine, and hopefully it'll be good enough for the day.